Hello, baseball fans. Chris Terrell here for Jagerbombs Fantasy Sports as well as DFSR.com to bring you a cheat sheet tutorial video going over my MLB cheat sheet. Now the season is up and underway and I've got everything updated almost 100%, but I'm going to give you kind of a look over that. Before we get into that, I'm going to show you where you can get access to my cheat sheets. First of all, patreon.com/Jagerbombs. As of right now, I am covering 9 different sports. We've got NHL, League of Legends, PGA. NHL, by the way, is coming back on Saturday, August 1st. We've got the soccer package covering MLS, EPL, going to be Series A as well, some Champions League, and some other stuff in there as well coming up in the future. UFC, NBA package, which starts on Thursday, July 30th. Baseball up and running now, NFL in about a month. NASCAR package covering all 3 series there as well, with some new tools there. So it's $5 a month, gets you access to one of those sports, or for $10, which is a $45 value, gets you access to all the sports, as well as my Slack chat, where I've got extra stats, trends, that sort of stuff, one-on-one coaching, pretty much everything available almost 24/7. So get in there today. You can also go over to DFSR.com. A subscription to DFSR will also get you access to my cheat sheets. They also cover, we cover Major League Baseball, NHL, NFL, NBA. In terms of optimizers, we've got NHL, NBA coming back, NFL. PGA is fairly new. We got that going just kind of before the COVID break, so definitely get over and check that out. And get over here today for $14.95. You get the Classic, which gives you projections only. If you want the optimizer, it's $29.95 a month. Right now, there is a free trial going on as well, and both those packages cover my cheat sheets. So get over to DFSR.com or patreon.com/Jagerbombs and get my sheets today. With that, let's jump into this week's cheat sheet tutorial video. In this video, we're going to go over the MLB cheat sheet. If you're familiar with my sheets, there is a lot of stuff that does carry over. The coloring, for instance, is going to be the same. Green is good, red is bad. That's when you're looking at statistics anywhere on the sheet. I'm just fixing some percentages here. So on the baseball sheet, this is going to be the main tab that I am on when I'm looking at my offense. This is going to show the opponent starting pitcher, but more importantly, each team in alphabetical order. Projected lineup is going to be on this projected lineup column D, and if there is a lineup inserted into here, like you can see now, this is the sheet actually for the 29th of July. The slate is probably going to be started and over by the time you get to see this, so unfortunately it's not going to help you too much, but it is going to help you with getting to learn the cheat sheet a little bit more. So the lineup is confirmed once it is over here. You're going to see stats 2020 right now, advanced stats, exit velocity, all your regular stats there, batter versus daily split. We'll get into that here shortly. That shows there, and then as we get some more sample size here, we're also going to have last 14 days performances here as well. We've got the simple average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. WOBA is weighted on-base percentage, so it's similar to on-base, but I find it more important because it puts more weight on, doubles are more important than singles, triples are more important than doubles, home runs are more important than all of them, and it has a different weight for each of them. So it's a little better representation of how good a hitter actually is at getting on base, getting extra base hits, that sort of thing. Then we've got xWOBA, which is MLB StatCast's way of looking at like this exit velocity, hard contact, what percentage of the time the batter's hitting the barrel of the bat, and giving you what his WOBA should be based on those numbers. So I use that during the season. I'll look at a batter's WOBA once we get a little bit larger sample size. Obviously, right now we've got very small sample sizes, but we're going to start looking at this a little bit more. So if a batter's WOBA is lower than his xWOBA, we can probably expect some positive regression in the future. Obviously, the other way around, if his WOBA, like here, we see 332 WOBA, 296 xWOBA. Those numbers are fairly close. It's still 30 points, 38 points there. But that's when we start wondering, okay, maybe he's a little bit overperforming. So that's the way I use that. Weighted runs created plus, WRC plus is another common term we use for teams as well as individual players. The baseline is 100, so every point over 100 is a percentage point. Every one under is a percentage point as well. So, for instance, Kettle Marte here has a 115 WRC plus so far this season. That means he is creating runs 15% more than league average. ISO is isolated power. I won't get into the formula there, but pretty much higher is better. Anything like 200 and over is a really good ISO. That's more, I would say I use that more in terms of GPP, looking for upside. I look at more your WOBA and your WRC plus average and that sort of stuff when I'm building cash game lineups and looking for safety. Exit velocity for advanced stats, that's just the average speed that the ball comes off the bat when that ball is in play. Foul balls obviously don't count, strikeouts, that sort of thing. Things like that. So it has to be in play in between first and third, and they're just kind of measuring the exit velocity coming off the bat. And then hard percentage, hard contact based on that. And then barrel percentage, like I said, is the percentage of time the batter is making contact with the barrel of the bat. And they're just using a formula. I'll maybe show in a later video, but it's pretty much just looking at it's a scientific model based on the exit velocity, the trajectory coming off the bat, that sort of thing. They put that all together. The batter versus daily split, we're going to go over, and this is on here for every single team. So I'm going to go over to the individual batters here for a second. Let's just, for instance, go look at first base. So the batter versus daily split, all that is looking at the pitcher that he's facing right here. Opponent pitcher is right-handed. So batter versus daily split for Christian Walker is going to be his splits versus righties. When we get down to Paul Goldschmidt here, he's facing Rich Hill, who's a lefty. So his splits in the batter versus split column here, X, Y, Z, AA, and AB are going to be Paul Goldschmidt splits versus lefties. And that is updated to this season, so that's why the numbers are a little bit low. We know he's pretty good against lefties, but these are small sample size start of the season. So on these individual player tabs, we have name, we got batting order. Now, with that batting order, once lineups are confirmed, like I said over here on the starting lineups tab, like for Arizona, once they're over here, it's going to let you know when you start going through and making decisions on the individual position basis where that batter is hitting, and it's coming from that starting lineup. So if you see a number here, he is confirmed and in the lineup for today. If there's an NA, either what I've been trying to do and keep up with, trying to find a way to automate this, but as lineups come in and confirmed, I'm going through all these catcher first, second, third, short, and outfield and erasing all the players who are not starting to make it easier for you to view that. If I don't, just know that if a player has a number beside him, he is confirmed and in the lineup. Obviously, higher up in the order is better, and that's why like 1, 2, and 3 are in green, and we start getting 6, 7, 8, 9 are going to be in red as we get down the list here. Player name, which way he bats, team, opponent, DraftKings, the DK projection. That's something, it's in beta mode right now. It's something that I'm working on, just looking at, a mix of different preseason projections and kind of mashing them all together in my own little way, and then putting that on the sheet as well. That's going to be updated throughout the year as well. FanDuel, we've got the odds, the over-under, implied runs for that team, what park they're going to be in, the park factor. That's right beside the park here. So PF just stands for park factor. We've got runs and home runs. So this, the higher the number is going to be good for hitters. The lower number, like the Met Stadium, obviously is a pitcher's park. So the lower numbers are going to be pitcher's parks. Now you're going to see that on the pitching side of things too. I will explain that once we get over, but pretty much what you're going to see on the pitcher side of things is that a pitcher that's pitching in New York, this 30 and 24 would be green, obviously, because that's going to be good for the pitchers, whereas 30th and 24th pitcher's park for the hitters isn't good, so it's in red over here. So that's just one difference when looking at pitchers versus hitters. Like I said, then we've got the opponent. Weather rating is going to be here too. That's updated throughout the day, and that is a 1 to 5 rating system, and that comes from the stadium/weather tab. So you scroll down here, you're going to find that weather ranking here. You will find it on all the individual player tabs as well. Shows you the team name, the abbreviation, what league they're in, the stadium, whether it's outdoor or retractable roof, and then a link to weather.com, the closest weather tower to each stadium. So you can go check that out there as well. So after the batter versus daily split, we're going to have last 14 days performances in there as well. But right now, small sample, I don't have that up yet. We've got 2020 stats for batters, and then the splits over here as well for each batter. But like I said, this is if you want to break down the batter versus righties and lefties. If you're just looking to compare batters today versus the pitcher that they're facing, that's where the batter versus daily split column comes in very handy, and that's why I've got it over here more versus the splits all the way to the right if you actually want to look at both splits. So that's the individual player tabs. The starting pitcher tab, is another main sheet I use. So I would say the starting lineups and the starting pitcher tab are going to be my top 2 tabs. Slate, obviously, ranking. I've got a model over here to the right. So not only do I have projections, but I've got a model too, which is just kind of looking at park factor, XFIP, and a bunch of different stuff like that. Same thing here with name, team, opponent, the hand they pitch. With DraftKings and FanDuel information, we've got odds, we've got park factor, like I said. The Mets obviously is green here, 30-24, because it's a pitcher stadium. It was red on the hitter side. We've got the hitter's ERA, XFIP, and this is one thing I like to look at in terms of, if a pitcher's maybe running hot or maybe running cold. We do have a lot of data in baseball to kind of look at that. So this is 2019 stats. So we see like Germain Marquez, however you want to say it, from Colorado last year, ran a 4.76 ERA. ERA is something I don't look at as a projecting stat. XFIP is looking at pitching, and all it is fielding independent pitching. So it's just pretty much putting stats, giving you stats on everything that the pitcher can actually control. So seeing that an XFIP is lower than an ERA tells me that that pitcher obviously pitched better than the results that he got last year. Opposite would be Lance Lynn. He had a 3.67 ERA. The XFIP was slightly higher. So not a big difference there. Not nearly as much as Marquez here. So that's one thing I look at. Obviously, K percentage, the amount of batters that he strikes out. Swinging strike percentage, that's just looking at how many strikes that he gets that are actually swings and misses. Walk percentage, ground ball percentage, fly ball percentage, and then on the batter side, we have exit velocity as well. On the pitcher side, we have exit velocity as well. Obviously, higher exit velocity is going to be red in these columns. Same with hard percentage. Then we've got the WOBA. We have the WOBA that they give up to the opponents, the xWOBA. I explained that in the hitters. It's the same kind of thing where you can really see if a pitcher's maybe running hot or cold based off of some of the expected stats that they have going off of the Major League Baseball StatCast, exit velocity, launch angle, and stuff like that. So then I've got the differential here just to kind of look at who's running hot, who isn't. So obviously the lower numbers, guys that are maybe looking at some positive regression are going to be in green. Guys that are going to maybe see some negative regression are going to be in red. Same with slugging percentage. And then we've got opponent versus daily split. Same thing. This is looking at the opposing team versus the hand that the pitcher is. So you can compare every pitcher versus the team that they're facing. So obviously this one is looking at, we'll go ahead and look at Madison Bumgarner. These stats here are Texas's splits versus lefties last season. This one here would be Colorado's splits versus righties last season because they're facing Frankie Montas, who's a righty. So that's why I look at that. We've got the the opponent's hitting stats for the season. And then we've got their splits here as well if you really do want to break down the lefties and righties, not just the daily split. And then if you make your own copy of the sheet, this is where you can adjust the model over here. I've got this row hidden, but it's just putting a weight on a bunch of different factors that are ranked of the stats that we just talked about. You can kind of organize that how you want, and it spits out a 1, 2, 30, or however many pitchers are on the slate, spits out a ranking, and it populates that over here as well. So you've got the DK projection, which, like I said, it's in beta right now. There is some little things I'm still learning in terms of the projection side of things, but I wanted to get that up for this season as well. Team stacking just looks at each individual team, their implied runs. I've got, speaking of that DK and FanDuel projection, it combines the entire team's lineup from the starting lineups tab each day. So if you want to compare that as well, I highlight my top picks. Again, there is a model all the way to the right where you can rank a bunch of different factors, opponent, pitcher, that sort of thing. Speaking of the pitcher, we've got him. The handedness, the overall stats, the split stats, home, road, right, left, same with all the teams here, so you can split it up there. The other thing, if you're here looking at your initial stacks, I'll start here, I'll look at the teams and their Vegas odds, and now that I know that I like the Yankees, I'm going to hover over the Yankees here, and I'm going to click this little link. It's going to take me right to their lineup on the starting lineups tab, and I'm going to be able to see if it's a projected lineup, confirmed lineup. I'm going to be able to see some more stats here, team combined stats and that sort of thing. And if you're ever wondering what my picks are, like green, blue, yellow, and red, or purple on the sheet, you can always go to the legend down here at the bottom. It's going to show you that as well. That pretty much covers everything here on the basic tutorial video. If you have any questions, definitely hit me up in chat. I'll be able to help you out there. on Twitter as well at Jaeger_bombs9. Leave a comment in the video below, and I'll definitely get back to you. All likes and subscribes to the channel, very much appreciated. And let's go out there, build some winning MLB lineups, and cash together. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.